Some words carry weight beyond language. They are not just symbols we use to communicate. They are containers of vibration. When you speak with emotion, belief, and focus, your words become more than sound. They become a signal. And when you speak in silence, not to others, but to the field around you, the signal becomes pure, uninterrupted, undistorted. This is where true power begins to move. Florence Scovel-Shinn believed that words were not just creative, they were law. She taught that every word you speak is like a decree made to the universe, and it does not return empty. The invisible takes shape around what you declare, especially when your emotion matches your intention. But she also taught something more subtle, more sacred. Not all power is meant to be shared out loud. Some of it multiplies in silence. Vibration doesn't need volume to be real. In fact, the most potent energies move quietly. Just like seeds planted beneath the soil, the most transformational affirmations grow in the dark, untouched by doubt, protected from interference. That's why certain words, when held in silence, begin to change things faster than the ones we say to the world. Because when no one else is watching, your vibration becomes more honest, more aligned. Not every affirmation needs to be performed. Some are too sacred for noise. When you hold a set of words in your heart and repeat them only to the silence within you, you create a resonance that's untouched by external judgment. That's where real magic begins. Not in what you say to others, but in what you choose to say to yourself, over and over, in the stillness. If this message has reached you, it's not a coincidence. You've likely been speaking too much from the surface, and now you're being invited into a deeper frequency, where what you say in silence shapes what comes to life tomorrow. Florence Scovel-Shinn didn't just teach about positive thinking. She revealed a spiritual technology, one rooted in ancient truth and energetic law. Her words were deliberate, her language precise. She believed that every phrase we speak acts like a wand, casting vibrational orders into the universe. And unlike many teachings of her time, she emphasized that the spiritual world is not metaphor. It's mechanical. Your words don't symbolize creation. They are creation. To her, speech was never casual. Every word was a spell, whether conscious or not. She often said that your spoken word sets invisible forces in motion. If you say, "Money flows to me freely," and you feel it as truth, then reality begins to shift, quietly and systematically, to match that frequency. Not because of hope, because of law. The law of vibration doesn't judge, it mirrors. But Florence also taught that the more sacred the intention, the more quietly it should be carried. Power, she said, grows best in stillness. That's why not everything spoken should be shared. Some words are not meant for performance. They are for programming. They are codes designed to speak directly to your subconscious, bypass the noise of the world, and activate dormant frequencies within you. That's the difference between a public affirmation and a personal decree. The first is for inspiration. The second is for transformation. And it's the second that changes your vibration permanently. When you choose words that are aligned with divine order and you hold them close, whispering them only to the silence inside you, they begin to take root in your energetic field. Florence didn't just believe in speaking truth. She believed in protecting it, guarding the vibration, holding it long enough to let it grow. And that's why the words you're about to receive are not to be shared. Because they're not just powerful, they're sacred. And when used in silence, they begin working instantly, not on the world, but on the vibration that draws the world to you. Most people believe money comes through effort, struggle, and constant doing. But Florence Scovel Shinn saw through that illusion. She understood, long before it became mainstream, that wealth is not attracted through force, but through frequency. It doesn't answer to action alone. It answers to vibration. And when your inner world becomes a match for abundance, money begins to appear in forms your logic could never predict. There is no shortage of money in the world. What there is a shortage of aligned receivers, people whose vibration says, "I'm open, I'm ready, I trust them." You can chase money all your life and still feel stuck. But the moment your frequency shifts, truly shifts, reality rearranges. Opportunities find you. Clients come out of nowhere. Debts dissolve. Not because you did more, but because you became more energetically receptive. This is why the spoken word matters so deeply. Your words are frequency in motion. When you speak about lack, even casually, you reinforce its vibration. When you speak about prosperity, especially with belief, clarity, and silence, you begin to shift the current of energy around you. Florence taught that the spiritual realm responds to expectation, not hope, not desperation, but certainty. And that certainty is built through repetition, stillness, and aligned words. If your frequency is chaotic, money will avoid you, not out of punishment, but because abundance cannot land where there's energetic noise. That's why these 7 words you're about to receive are not random. They are a vibrational key, a code that, when repeated in silence, begins to clear the static, recalibrate your field, and open the channel for wealth to flow. Effort has its place, but effort without alignment is like planting seeds in frozen soil. The work doesn't matter if the energy isn't right, but when your frequency becomes clear, calm, and grounded in abundance, everything accelerates. The world doesn't change, you do. And that shift makes all the difference. Some words do not belong in casual conversation. They are not meant to be tweeted, shared, or explained. They are designed to be held, spoken within, never outside. Florence Scovel Shinn understood that the vibration of money is precise, and to align with it, your words must be equally deliberate. The 7 words you're about to receive are not magic. They are frequency tools. And when spoken silently, with belief and emotional integrity, they begin to reshape the energetic field around you. You do not need to shout these words. You do not even need to move your lips. Their power lives in vibration, not volume. Repeat them inwardly, slowly, as if each word is tuning your energy like an instrument. Feel them. Let them settle into your chest, and as they settle, the frequency begins its work, not through instant riches, but through immediate alignment. These are the 7 words. Repeat them in silence, with feeling, and do not share them with anyone else. Wealth, flow, open, trust, receive, gold, free. Each word holds a distinct vibrational key. Wealth opens the energy of fullness. Flow releases resistance. Open signals your readiness. Trust clears fear. Receive activates receptivity. Gold anchors the frequency of richness, and free dissolves attachment. Together, they form a complete energetic circuit, from intention to manifestation. Florence would say that you must protect your spiritual practice from interference, and that includes the words you use. That's why these must remain yours alone. No explanations. No proof just repetition in silence, especially in moments of stillness, before sleep, or upon waking. These are the times when your subconscious is most receptive and your field is most open. The first time you repeat them, you may feel nothing. That's fine. The frequency is subtle. But repetition builds resonance, and resonance creates results. Speak them with trust, not tension, with presence, not pressure. And soon, your outer world will begin to mirror what your inner world has quietly declared. There is a sacredness in what is kept quiet, not hidden from fear, but protected through intention. Florence Scovel Shinn knew that spiritual work loses power when it's exposed too early. Words, especially the ones charged with deep vibration, must be guarded like seeds, kept in fertile, undisturbed ground until they've taken root. That's why the 7 words must remain yours, and only yours. Spoken silently, held closely, never explained. Every time you share a powerful practice too soon, you risk diluting its frequency. Because the moment you speak of it, you invite others' energy into it, their doubts, their questions, their curiosity. And that can interrupt the delicate alignment you've just begun to build. Energetic integrity means knowing when to speak and knowing when to stay in silence. Silence isn't weakness, it's wisdom. And in the spiritual realm, it's protection. The subconscious responds best when your energy is clean, when it's not being redirected outward by the need to be validated or understood. The more quietly you hold these 7 words, the more purely they vibrate within you. Their rhythm becomes familiar. Their meaning deepens. And eventually, they begin to shape the way you walk, speak, and receive. Not because you're trying, but because your field has recalibrated. Florence often reminded her readers that divine order unfolds in silence. Manifestation doesn't require performance, it requires alignment. When you keep a practice sacred, you send a message to the universe. I trust this. I don't need approval. I'm letting the energy do its work. That trust amplifies your frequency, and that frequency begins attracting things that match it: people, money, timing, and ease. So let these 7 words remain untold. Let them live in you like a current running beneath the surface, and let their effect speak for itself. Not through explanation, but through quiet transformation. The less you say, the more the universe responds. Activation doesn't require effort, it requires presence. The moment you bring your full attention to something, without resistance or distraction, it begins to shift. And these 7 words were never meant to be shouted or performed. Their power awakens only when spoken from the stillest part of you, the part that believes without needing proof, the part that already knows energy moves first and reality follows after. To activate this flow, you don't need candles or rituals. You only need honesty, emotion, and silence. Choose a quiet moment, just after waking, just before sleep, or during a pause in your day when everything else slows down. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. Then, in the stillness of your own mind, speak the words one by one, not quickly, not mechanically, but with reverence. Wealth, flow, open, trust, receive. Gold, free. Feel each word vibrate as if it's alive. Imagine it sending a frequency outward into the invisible field around you, planting itself, multiplying. This isn't visualization, it's transmission. You're not asking for money. You're aligning with the energy that draws it in. And the more you repeat this silently, over days and weeks, the more your outer world begins to mirror the order you've created inside. Don't rush the process. Don't watch for signs. Trust that the signal has been sent. Energetic activation is not always followed by instant results, but it is always followed by movement. You'll begin to notice synchronicities, small shifts, unexpected openings. That's the field responding, softly at first, then more clearly, until your life begins to feel different in ways you can't explain, but can't deny. If this message found you, it's because you're ready to hold something sacred. And if you feel the pull to repeat these words, begin today. Not loudly, but powerfully. Let your silence become the space where wealth awakens.